want to say that it is truly an honor to be here today speaking in front of all of you. Auditors and chief auditing officers are some of the most important people in any organization. I had the same misconceptions as most others do about your profession. Many of you actually who are in this room and really diving deep into what it is you do, I have come to truly believe that you are all superheroes. All day today, in some form or another, you've all been talking about what I call are your auditor superpowers. Integrity, courage, critical thinking, emotional intelligence, honesty and transparency, confidence. You have high ethics. Your problem-solving abilities are off the charts, and you are all trusted advisors. These are skills that you have to master just to be considered to be great at what you do. Are you practicing the same superpowers at home? When is the last time you did an internal audit on yourself, of your life? Because today, we are going deep. So I have racked my brain trying to come up with the ultimate question that I could ask all of you so that you can discern whether or not you are living in your truth. And I think that I have done it. It's how you answer this one question. Does this outfit make my butt look big? I know that I've convicted some of you already, but in all seriousness, today I'm going to challenge you to do what you do best. But this time, I want you to turn the lens inward and audit yourself. So let's start with the first superpower, integrity. Auditors are the guardians of integrity, and every day at work, you help ensure that the organizations that you work for and with operate honestly and ethically. You use this superpower every day. But in your personal life, are you holding yourself to those same high standards? Are you living in alignment with your own values? Or have you let those little compromises chip away at your highest values and your integrity? What is one area of your life where maybe you're not in alignment with your highest values? Courage. It takes courage to have those difficult conversations that you have every day at work. It takes courage to stand up and speak up when you know that something isn't right. It takes courage to make recommendations when you know that they might not be popular. Every day at work, you embody the statement that there's never a wrong time to do the right thing. But when was the last time that you were courageous for yourself? Do you have the bravery to admit when something in your own life isn't working? Are you courageous enough to take risks for your own growth. To have those hard conversations in your personal life like you do at work. I want you to think of an action that requires courage for you to do. And I challenge you to commit to taking that action today. Critical thinking, another one of your superpowers. It is unbelievable how you are able to think like this on a daily basis. I don't know how you do it. You have the ability to take different parts from different things and put them all together and think through it at work. But in your personal life, are you applying that same level of critical thinking to your own habits, your own priorities, and your own goals? Are you wasting energy on things that don't serve you? Are you still doing your outdated systems in your personal life when you know they need upgrading? What is one area of your life that could use the same level of critical thinking that you bring to your job every day? Emotional intelligence. This is another superpower. You guys have to be crazy good at this. Emotional intelligence, when you have it, it enables you to navigate the sensitive and difficult conversations. It enables you to keep your cool and maintain your professionalism. At work, you can read a room and you understand everyone's emotions before you have the conversation. But in your personal life, are you even self-aware? How often do you check in with your emotions? Are you regulating your emotions, or are you just pushing through that stress and burnout? If your emotional health were a balance sheet, would you be in the black or would you be overdrawn? Honesty, transparency. At work, in your careers, you seek to uncover the truth. And you hold others accountable every day for honesty and transparency. But in your personal life, are you being honest with yourself? Are you transparent with your needs, with your emotions, with your boundaries, or are you hiding behind denial, excuses? Are you? What is one hard truth that you have been avoiding? That you've been trying to avoid facing, actually? Commit to facing it. Confidence, right? In confidence, you stand firm in your judgment. But in your personal life, do you approach your own challenges and decisions with that same level of confidence? Are you letting those limiting beliefs hold you back? Are you secretly telling yourself, I'm not good enough, I'm not smart enough, I'm not strong enough, I can't change? Doggone it, people like me. Sorry. I had to throw something in there. Right? Made myself laugh. But are you? Are you internally? What's your internal dialogue like? Do you second guess yourself or play small? I just want you guys to think about that one for a few moments. The superpower. At work, you love to learn. You read everything you can, learn everything about everything that you're auditing, like your love for continuous learning, for self-improvement at your job, I know is very high, and it's a beautiful superpower to have. You're always learning, makes you more effective, keeps you sharp at your job. But what about learning about yourself? When is the last time you actually spent intentional time with yourself? Intentional time spent not just reacting to life, but spending that time proactively working on your own growth, yourself. High ethics. This is another one. It's the cornerstone, right, of what you do. You have to operate in the highest in this. You hold others accountable for their honesty and transparency, and you help not only yourself, but the organizations that you work for operate in that same way. But at home, are you staying true to your priorities? Or are you letting that work stress or all those distractions pull you off course? What are maybe 2 or 3 things in your life where you know that your actions are not aligning with your highest values? You're also masters at problem solving. You take a balled up bunch of yarn and you make a beautiful tapestry out of it somehow, and you put it together in a report and you hand it to people so that they can understand. You're masters at this at work. But in your personal life, oops, went too far. It's not letting me go back. Do you approach your problems the same way? Do you treat them as opportunities to find solutions, or do you just let those problems linger? I challenge you to think again of something in your life, a personal problem that could use the same level of problem solving as you bring to your job every day. And finally, trusted advisors. Whether they admit it or not, the people in your organizations need you. At work, they come to you for strategy and advice, because they know your superpowers and they know how you operate. At work, they do this every day. And at work, you are the trusted advisors. But if I asked your friends and family if they felt the same way about you at home, what would they say? Are you a trusted advisor of yourself? Are you honest with yourself about what is working and what is not? Imagine what your life would look like, what your life would be like if you applied your auditor superpowers to your personal life. It starts with the courage to recognize what needs to be changed, to have those hard conversations, the critical thinking, making sure that you're in alignment with your highest values, and all the things that go with it. But when you start taking those steps, it will lead to a life as balanced and resilient and incredible as the organizations that you all serve. And as I'm not going to say I'm closing today, but as I close today, because it's going to be a story, I want to share with you a story about an internal audit that I did. And it's a story of me having cancer. I promise it's not a downer, okay? What if I told you that cancer is the best thing that ever happened to me? And I actually wouldn't even be alive right now if I didn't have cancer back then, but that's a whole nother story. Growing up in a one and one when he wasn't drunk household, the only thing that I knew when I was a little kid is that I wanted to be successful so that I could leave. My original plan was to be a doctor. But like most things when we're kids, doesn't exactly work the way we think. That's how y'all became auditors, right? I know. When I was 19, I got into the mortgage business and I dominated. By the time I was in my early 30s, I had it all. I look like this, but maybe 30 pounds heavier, but you get the point. I was a high producer. I was making high six figures, and I could buy and do whatever I wanted to. On the outside, I looked like this. On paper, I was great. But at the same time, I was a high producer. I was a low wife, a crappy friend, a horrible stepmom. I was a jerk. At the same time that I made high six figures, I thought that success meant that you had to work all the time. And I single-handedly ruined every vacation, every weekend, every holiday, every evening with my family, because I was always working. And even though I could buy and do whatever I wanted to, the truth was, I was never satisfied. I was never happy.
In reality, I look great on paper, but this is really what I was like at home. It's true. Kind of look like that in the morning sometimes too, but it's interesting because, again, at work, it was polished Jen, the top of my game, untouchable, a little arrogant. But at home, that's who I really was. I wasn't living in alignment with my truth at all. There was one Jen at work, and then the real Jen was home. Like that. In June of one year, out of nowhere, I started getting these really bad pains in my throat where I couldn't even swallow without it being an excruciating pain. But I was too busy to go to the doctor. Are you guys too busy to take care of yourselves? I had a doctor's appointment about 2.5 weeks-ish in the future for something that was completely unrelated. And I decided that I was just going to wait until then to take care of my problem. The day of my doctor's appointment, I actually almost canceled it because my phone was ringing off the hook. I had like 1,000 million text messages and a whole inbox full of emails. But I decided I was going to go anyway. And the doctor finishes his exam. Again, it was for something completely unrelated. And he's like, "What else you got going on, Jen?" I said, "Well, my throat. Can't swallow. I couldn't even swallow water without being in excruciating pain on that day." And I said, and my voice started getting really raspy. And it's just come on all of a sudden over just 3-week period. And so he starts feeling my throat. And he said, "I'll be right back." Now, I have had a lot of medical issues in my life. And I used to say at that time that I got them all out of my system before the age of 35. Not true. I had 2 more. But I learned that when a doctor says, "I'll be right back," it's never a good thing, ever. He was gone for like 10 minutes, and it felt like an eternity to me because my phone was just ringing and text messages and emails and all these things, and I almost left again because I'm like, I can't deal with this. I got too much stuff to do. So he comes back, and he's walking like this. He's got a business card in his hand. And he's like, "I hope you don't have anything else to do today." And I looked at him, I started laughing. I'm like, "Are you freaking kidding me? Yes, I have so much stuff to do today. You have no idea. I almost left a few minutes ago." And he said, "No." He said, "You have something major going on." And I just went and called a good friend of mine. And he's waiting for you right now. You need to go. You need to clear your schedule. Here's his business card. Go. So I did. 3 days later-ish, I got the call. "Jen, you have cancer." And when you get this call, you never forget where you were, what you were doing, what you were wearing. And you also know that life as you know it is never going to be the same. And that day, when I got that phone call, I was working from home. I was sitting in my office. I had just finished a loan application. And picked up the phone, he told me, and I had a tear run down my cheek and it hit the loan application. And I saved that loan application, by the way. But the tear was not for what you think it was. I was pissed. I did not have time for cancer. I didn't have a choice. I was in a fight for my life. Found out that I had a very aggressive form of cancer that could take someone out in a matter of weeks instead of months or years. And that I was to have surgery in just a couple of days so they can try to remove everything. So I had my surgery. Side note story, I woke up and I thought I was cross-eyed for some reason. Weird. I wasn't. But had my surgery, and I wasn't allowed to take any medicine to regulate my metabolism or anything like that. And I had to go through months of radiation and then a radioactive treatment at the end. So during this time, I was a mess, and I also had gained 100 pounds. I don't know if anyone's gained 100 pounds in just a couple of months, but it's pretty tough. It was tough. And I was determined that when I got better, that I was not going to let cancer define the rest of my life. That I used to smoke, right? To drink too much, smoke too much. I never watched what I ate. I never worked out. I didn't take care of myself at all. And I was determined that when I got better, especially after I had gained all that weight, that I was going to completely turn my life around. And so I started watching what I ate, and I didn't feel comfortable going to the gym. So I started walking. And then walking turned into hiking. And if anyone read my bio, you know I climbed Mount Kilimanjaro a couple years ago. So it started this beautiful journey into something that I had no idea was even inside of me. It took me 3 years to lose the weight, but it eventually came off. And the doctors actually said that I would always be overweight. And I'm so happy I did not listen. But even with that, I was like, I have to figure this life thing out, this success thing out. How can I still live at the level that I was accustomed to living at and not be so disparate of who I was one way at work and home? And I figured it out. I changed 3 things. 3 things. And when I changed these 3 things, I went from being a high producer to being the highest producer. One of the top in the nation, definitely the top in San Antonio. And I went from making 6 figures to 7. And I went from ruining every single vacation and holiday and Christmas and everything to enjoying every weekend, every evening, every holiday, and actually going on vacation where I did not work. You guys want to know what I changed? So I'm going to tell you. First thing is I established a morning routine. The old Jen would get up at 7:30, rush into chaos, no plan, and then always say I was going to work out after work, and then I never did because I was exhausted. So I started getting up at 4:30 in the morning. Get up at 4:30, I would have a nice leisurely cup of coffee. My husband and I would read and pray together, do a devotional. I would then journal, write. I would work out, meditate, and then I would take my sweet old time getting ready for work. So before I even went to work, I already had 5 hours of Jen time where I took care of myself first, my emotional health. Because I realized that I took care of all these people, and that was me on the inside because I didn't take care of myself at all. According to Harvard Business, 94% of high achievers have an established morning routine. But what I hear from a lot of people is, yeah, I get up early and I start working at 6 a.m. I'm like, what are you doing? No, you're missing the point. It's not for you to start working earlier. It's for you to take the time for yourself, for your own mental health, for your own well-being, for your own physical health. In my days of waking up and chaos and running around like a crazy person, became days of calm and clarity and direction. And when I worked, I was laser focused on work because I was able to already take care of all those things. So if you don't already have an established morning routine where maybe you're getting up just a little bit earlier than the kids or even your spouse, to take the time for yourself, I challenge you to do that because I will tell you it will change your life. And you will get more work done in your day than before because of how focused you become. It's incredible. The second thing I started doing is I started saying no. Why are we so afraid to say no? I realized that I was like this people-pleasing, always saying yes to everything because I felt guilty for saying no to someone's face. Someone asked me to do something at work. Oh, yeah, I'll do that. You stay late. Okay, I'll do that. Oh, I'll take your loan application at 10 o'clock at night. And then I would sit there and be like, why in the heck am I doing this? I started saying no. I realized how many things, and I actually want you to think about this too. How many things do you say yes to? And then you're like, why in God's name did I say yes? Because you hate it, you resent it. So I started saying no. And all of a sudden, I had a ton of free time. And I didn't do all the things I didn't want to do. It was beautiful. And like one of my favorite things to do that I started doing, I'll share one of my secrets with you, is that when someone asked me to do something, instead of giving them an answer, I said, let me check my calendar, let me review my commitments, and I will let you know if I'm able to do that or not. So it saves you if you feel bad, right, about saying no. It's a little trick, and it works, because then you have time to discern, number one, do I really want to do it? Number two, if I do really want to do it, what am I going to have to give up instead? Try it. It works. It's beautiful. And then the third thing I started doing is I stopped thinking that I had to do everything myself. Why are we so afraid to even ask for help? I used to think that I was the only one who could do these things. I'm talking at work and at home. I had a big staff, but yet I thought that only I could do it right. No one else could do it. I could do it faster, so I just kept on doing more and more and more and more and more myself. So I started asking for help and empowering the kids, empowering other people, my staff. And what happened was they could do it. And they did it well. And I had a lot more time and a heck of a lot less stress. And all those things got done. So establish a morning routine. Say no, draw clear boundaries around your time, when you work, what you will do, what you won't do. And ask for help. That's all I did, guys. It wasn't some magic formula, but it took my career, my life, everything, and elevated it. Where I'm like, it doesn't have to be like that. So I tell you all of this today, and I share this with you today because if you're one way at work, but another way at home, it will eventually catch up to you. It will. May not now, but it will. And doing an internal audit on yourself, who you are, your values, your actions, all of those things can change your life. For me, it was a diagnosis of cancer. For you, it could be the loss of a job, the loss of a loved one, or maybe even a diagnosis yourself. Don't wait until it's too late. I want all of you to live your life like your souls are on fire. Because if I can do it, so can you. I'm Jen Guidry. Thank you for your attention today, and have a blessed rest of your evening. Thank you.